In this class, we will learn DOM Traversal. So, for DOM Traversal, I will open up an HTML page. I have created an HTML page like this. So, here is an H1 tag with ID, and there is UL tags with several LIs and having different classes. These three having front end as class attribute, and these two having backend as class attribute. So this is an HTML page. I will open up this page in our web browser. Okay, I will open up in Google Chrome. One moment. Okay, so this page is opened up in Google Chrome. I will open up our console, developer console window. Okay. Okay. So here I will type document object. So as you can see, document object covers the entire document. So the result we got is the entire HTML document content. So the point here is document object as part of our DOM tree represent the entire HTML elements. So here we can see head element, body element, all the elements within this body tag. Okay, so that is document object. And inside the document object we have several methods. So we will discuss some common document object methods. So these are the common document object methods we are going to discuss today. So document.getElement by ID, document.getElements by class name, document.getElements by tag name, document.querySelector, and document.querySelector all. Okay, let's start with, we will learn one by one. So let's start with document.getElement by ID. So here is our document, and we have an H1 tag with ID title. I will try to access this element with our ID attribute. So we are discussing traversal. Traversal means to navigate each of the HTML elements. That's what we are going to do. We will access HTML elements using our JavaScript code. I will type document.getElement. You can see the suggestion appear here. I will type just tab and it will autofill. And within that I will type title. Okay, now you can see that this element got selected. This is because this H1 element has the title, has the ID as the title. So it selects document dot, it's clear itself by that command. Get element by ID. Give me the ID, give me the element having this ID title. That's what it does. Now we will see document.getElements by class name. Document.getElements. Okay, you can see auto suggestion by class name, and I will give front end. So front end as our class name. So there is an HTML collection we have got as result. So it has li.frontend, li.frontend, and li.frontend. Three elements. So the first element is this, second element is this, third element is this. Console. So here you can see li dot first element, second element, and third element. So there is an HTML collection. This is basically an array, and it gives a set of elements, not just a single element. As we have discussed earlier in the previous session, ID is unique. That means only one element can have a single ID. But class name can be multiple elements can have the same class name. So here these three elements have the same class name. These three elements, HTML, CSS and JavaScript, these three elements have the same class name as frontend. Okay, I will try it out with one more example. This time I will give it as backend. Okay, let's see what happens here. So the result we obtained as these two elements. So why? Because these two elements has the class name as backend. Okay, so that is the difference between it's get element by ID and get elements by class name. By ID, select a single element. Here it is given as get element, not elements. But in the case of by class name, here it's given as get elements by class name. Okay. Now we will move to our next example. I will first clear this out. I will first clear this entire thing. So, okay, I will clear it out. Clear. So, clear. So that entire screen got cleared. Now I will type document dot get element by tag name. Get elements by tag name. By tag name. So within that I will give tag as h1. Now you can see an HTML collection is resulted, and this HTML collection having elements with tag h1. Here we have only one element in this entire HTML document having tag name as h1, because this is having tag as h1. So this element got selected. So this is the result we obtain. HTML collection will be the result. Here only one element is present. If there was one more h1 element, then that element will also be part of this HTML collection. I will try it out once more. This time I will type li. So it will select all the elements having tag li. Okay. So there are total 5 elements. Let's see. So this one is first, this one is second, this one is third, fourth and fifth. So there are 5 elements got selected. So that is document.getElements by tag name. We can access individual elements by its tag. So that is another way of accessing or traversing DOM tree using JavaScript. Now we will see another method, that is document dot query selector. Query selector, within that I will give h1. Now you can see that h1 element got selected. That particular single element got selected. Query selector means select an element based on the query. Here the given query is h1. So it will select the element having tag as h1. Now let's try it with another example. I will give title. I am planning to select an element having ID title. I have just given title. So it doesn't gives the corresponding result. What we want is an element having ID as title. For specifying that, I will type hash. So you can see it will select the element having ID as title. So this hash symbol denotes that ID portion. So hash title means give us the element having ID title. So I will try it out with one more example. Dot front end. So that means select the element having class name as front end. So we know these three elements have the class name front end, but we only got this element as the result, because document.query selector method can give us result and only on element. On element, just single element will be selected as part of query selector. But what we need is, we need to select all these three elements when we give dot front end. How we can do that? For accessing all these elements, there is a method called document.query selector all. That means we need to select all the elements having this particular query. So we will give a query, and based on that query, these elements will get selected. Okay. Now we got a node list. Node list means these all are nodes in the DOM tree. So this element got selected, this got selected, and this got selected. That's how document.query selector and query selector all works. Document.query, the basic difference is document.query selector can select a single element, but document.query selector all can select multiple elements as a node list. So these are the common major methods that can be used in JavaScript to manipulate or to access or traverse DOM tree. That means we have a feature to access individual elements in the HTML page. We can access each element using any of the available query. We can either use a document.query document.getElement by ID, or we can use document.getElements by class name, or we can use by tag name, or query selector all. We can use any of this method as based on our convenience. So that concludes our session about DOM traversal. Thank you.